Mike's Daily Podcast.
Well, look at that. We're at FM episode 2100.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Wait, 2117, 2117. It's Mike Matthews, and this show is like... What happened to Mike singing? It suddenly went weird and odd. What the... Is that allowed on this podcast? Is that okay? I don't think that's okay. What in the heck? The show's called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I do bar mitzvahs and weddings. And one time I did a haunted house.
Mike's
That was a mistake.
Daily
I went there and I had...
Podcast.
Hey, what the heck?
Yeah!
Why? We're going to have some interesting things today for you on the show. And I'm thankful that you're listening, because without you, we wouldn't have anyone listening. And it'd be sad. It'd be lonely. And then there would be maybe some dogs trying to attack my foot. That's all the things that we would have without you listening. So thank you for doing that. We also have what do you call it? Free prizes that we're giving away. Yes, be caller number 12 right now. 336 Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. is in Daily. Mike Matthews as in M&M. And that, if you're caller 12 at that number, you will win the most beautiful organic soap. Is that what this is? What is this? Wait, no, I think it's still alive. It's an animal called a soap. No, wait, No, this is not. This is actually a lawnmower. No? Not sure. You know what? I don't think you want to win this, so don't call that number. But if you would like to, you can, because that we welcome your calls. You know, I would like to tell you right now, the podcast picture is not of Benicia. We're going to step away from Benicia momentarily.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And instead bring you a picture from the Anthony Chabot Regional Park near where I live in Podcastro Valley. We are broadcasting from Cafe Anyway today in Podcastro Valley 10. The temperatures have gone through the roof. They are soaring. There is absolutely no way anyone can survive this incredibly hot temperature. So if you are hearing this, you are one of the last survivors. And you're hearing my voice years and years from now in the future, because I've been preserved in a time capsule. Thank you so much. What, Basil? What? Huh? Yeah. Oh. Okay, Basil says he misses being on the planet Earth, but now he's somewhere soaring through the cosmos. And that's awesome. We miss him so much. And in fact, last night I was thinking about the wonderful things Basil used to do, the fun things. And then I thought about the poop. So much poop that dog made. Oh my gosh. I guess similar to me, I do the podcast. I guess it's a similar thing. Similarly, leaving a lot of poop. At any rate, don't miss the poop, miss the dog, though. I think now would be as perfect a time as any to perhaps get to a phone call. What do you think? Let's see. In order to do that, I got to press this button. I got to do this, and then press this. Let's see what we got here at this call.
Oh, my God.
Email for email and your calm and not so calm minutes.
Hey, Mike, what's going on, brother? It's Tony Baloney from Bayonne, New Jersey. I just wanted to give you a quick shout-out. Want to let you know I'm a big fan of the show. I love the last episode about the power of the day. You just got to be a little careful, because sometimes you get a little rash up underneath your armpits, and oh, my God, forget about it. Also...
Wait. The power of the what? What? A big fan about the... azaleas. Yes, the azaleas gave me a rash. That's right. I was cutting the azaleas. Such a beautiful plant.
I like what you said about...
What else? Oh, there's a long...
I like how you used Floyd the Floorman and John Deere the engineer.
Oh.
Those are two stand-up people.
Yes.
Next time, I can't wait. You just got to, one thing you got to do, you got to stop talking about Benicia. All right? Get off the Benicia. We got to move on to bigger and greener pastures, okay?
Oh.
You stay safe, avoid the fires, and Mike's Daily Podcast, I listen to it every day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Number one podcast for me. Have a good one. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Thank you, Tony Baloney, one of my favorite foods. Bologna. Oh, so delicious. And thank you for not destroying my knees. I don't know why I said that. That could be just a stereotype. I think there's no room for stereotyping in this world. Do you?
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
It's terrible. I think, in fact, we should all just love each other and not assume anything about each other and just say, thank you, Tony, for calling into the show. You can call 336-MM Daily, 3 + 3 = 6. MM isn't Mike Matthews, Daily isn't what this podcast tries to be. He says, avoid the fires. Yes, and I'm looking out over the Pleasanton area at this moment because I am clairvoyant in my mind brain, and I see that it is smoky and just filled with smoke, and it's because of the fires. And Benicia is probably very fiery. I love the Benicia, though. What can I tell you? I have this weird, it's sort of some people are pulled to a certain point in the area, in the world. My lovely lady friend gets pulled to Mount Shasta. She loves that place. Lots of people get pulled to Mount Shasta. And my lovely lady friend is the only exception, the only person I like that gets pulled to Mount Shasta. Mostly those people that get pulled to Mount Shasta are... How shall I put this? They don't smell the best. Let's just say that you get a lot of odd facial hair that gets pulled to Mount Shasta. You get a lot of hairstyles that are, let's say, matted hair. A lot of matted hair gets pulled to Mount Shasta. And a lot of hippies. So I think, you know what? That's fine. I love all people. And I love all plants, even the ones that give me rashes. But I think Benicia is the place that I get pulled to now and then. I think I bring it up a lot also because I had not been to it for a long time. Because I would only go there with my dog. And when Basil the Boxer passed away, I didn't want to go back. Or when he couldn't walk anymore, I didn't want to go because I felt bad that he couldn't walk around. So... now I've gone back, and that's why so many pictures. So, Tony Baloney, thanks for putting up with all the pictures of that place. But back to other things. As we're about to go outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on Earth, there's this guy who does a radio show. Let's go outside. Oh, so smoky. Speaking of smoke... so I love people that complain about the fires and the smoke in the air. And what do they do when they go home? They smoke pot. They smoke the marijuana. And they hold it, they do the thing, the Cheech and Chong, where they inhale the smoke and then they hold it in their lungs. Guess what? That's not good for your lungs. Did you know that? Did you know that? That sounds like a character that may have been on this show. Yeah, not the best thing for you. So I always find people who do that sort of thing, I find them hilarious when they complain about the smoke in the air, because they should be used to that by now, because they put so much of that in their lungs. And when these same people are afraid of getting COVID-19 because it's going to destroy their lungs. They tell you things like, oh my gosh, have you seen what coronavirus does to your lungs? It completely destroys your lungs. Their lungs are gone. They're damaged. Dude, excuse me, dude. The dude abides, excuse me, dude. Do you think all that smoke you've held in your lungs, if you put it in your stomach, wow. Now, that's a lot you've done a lot of the marijuana if you put it in your stomach. But if you put it in your lungs and held it, you have done damage to your lungs. Don't know if you noticed that or not. Or if you just smoke cigarettes, you know that happens as well. Just saying, You have no room to complain about damage to your lungs when that's all you've done your whole life. Just because you wanted to be cool, be with all the other guys that smoke the reefer and have the reefer madness. And it's 1950s, and we're in the cars, and we're having the reefer madness, and look, there's Marty McFly. He's traveled back in time to visit us. I'd like to point out a couple things, though, as we move a little bit towards the end of the show here. On the last show, I mentioned the group Boston, and I mentioned Brad Delp, and I mentioned suicide. And I think at that point, I'd mentioned quite a few things, and you were probably listening going, what the heck, Mike's mentioning things, really weird topics on the show. Well, I'm going to tell you now that the circumstances in which Brad Delp died, I don't think I have the authority to tell you exactly what happened. Oh, heck, I do. I can look it up online and tell you. But at any rate, he had an amazing voice, and I did see him once perform in concert. And he was with the band RTZ, which stands for, by the way, and I didn't go into this, RTZ stands for Return to Zero. And I'm looking up on Wikipedia the exact story of what happened to him, but RTZ, I did see him also with Boston. That was the first concert I ever saw. And speaking of the aforementioned substance that people smoke at concerts, wow, there was a lot of that going on at that show at the Forum in LA in 1986, I think it was, when I went to that show. So to tell you specifically what happened to Brad Delp, and I only bring this up, he was a very talented man. His voice is amazing. If you isolate the vocals on More Than a Feeling by Boston, you will simply be blown away by what he was able to do. He layered the vocals. Tom Schultz did the amazing guitar work and the bass and everything, and Brad does this amazing singing. But sometime between 11 p.m. on March 8th and 1:20 p.m. March 9th, this was back in 2007, he died by suicide by carbon monoxide poisoning at his home in New Hampshire. He left various notes scattered from his car to the interior of his home. The police discovered his body on the floor of his master bathroom after, I think it was his girlfriend, saw a dryer vent tube connected to the exhaust pipe of his car. There were also 2 charcoal grills that were placed in the bathtub, and they were lit, causing the room to fill with smoke. A suicide note was paperclipped to the neck of his T-shirt, which read the same as the character's note from Twin Peaks. Wow. Yes, this is all on Wikipedia, so you know it's true. Mr. Brad Delp, J'aune ame solitaire. I am a lonely soul. Brad Delp left 4 sealed envelopes in his office addressed to his children, his former wife Mickey, his fiancée, and a couple that was not named by the media. He was only 55. The following day, the band Boston's website was temporarily closed down, the webmaster having replaced their homepage with a simple black background and white text message, "We've just lost the nicest guy in rock and roll." Now, the story goes on that he may have he might have had an infatuation with his fiancée Pamela Sullivan's sister and there was other things. So there was a hidden camera. When I mentioned the camera last podcast, there was a hidden camera planted in her room, the sister's room. And that after confronting Delp, he admitted to planting the camera and later wrote a series of emails pleading for forgiveness. Okay. Anyway, that's all I wanted to go into there to kind of clear that up. And as for what Suicide Prevention Day is also coming up, I mentioned that World Suicide Prevention Day, Awareness Day, is actually September 10th. There we go. Okay. So it is coming up next week. It's just so important in our world today with all the depression. There's so much more depression happening because of the coronavirus. And there's so much anxiety, and we're just not in a good place. But there's no reason to end it, because things are going to get better. If you look at history, things do. Think of the worst, darkest times. Our grandparents went through some horrible, horrible times. The wars. I mean, we have awful wars today, but back then, oh my gosh. It's never been pretty. It's never been great. But there are times when it gets better. And I think you should live for those days. And your loved ones want you to live. And your loved ones want you to keep going. That's all I'm saying. Hey, I got a text while I was doing the show. Because you know why? Because Mike Matthews always gets texts all the time. Oh, hey, and it's from someone that likes to call me Keezy. Keezy, your 750 cash transaction is pending. Accept now by clicking on this thing that will cause your phone to completely die. So I'm not going to click on that, and neither should you. I'm full of great tips today, aren't I? And finally, I would like to tell you that I have been trying to have this podcast on Amazon Music and Audible. I have submitted it. I don't know if it's there yet. I haven't checked. I do know, however, I am on radio.com, this podcast, and I will be on radio.com tomorrow morning. If you type in your search bar, type in KKDV, I will be on that between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. tomorrow if you want to hear me announcing songs, announcing the hottest hits. So that's happening tomorrow. Hey, we're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. It is Saturday in the park. Saturday. Yes, I just mashed up Chicago and Elton John. Look who's here. Hello, Michael Mash, it's Madame Rootabega, and I am loving today's show. Ooh.
And this is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we hear that we got some fans there.
Yeah, fans. Do you know that? No, the Tony Baloney liked Floyd the Floorman and John Deere the Engineer, not you guys.
Oh, then he can just, I would say something bad here, but you got the clean label on this show there.
Yeah, clean. Do you know that? Yes. So you won't say that phrase that ends with the word off to Tony Baloney, and thank you for not doing that. Madame Rootabega, I wanted to say to you, Madame Rootabega, while you're on today's show, that we have the thing. My voice is trailing off. Oh, the other thing, when I kept talking about Robinhood yesterday, I was talking about the Robinhood app. If I didn't say that clearly enough, it allows you to invest on stocks and that kind of thing. So I didn't complain or fill that out completely with my explanation. And also, interesting thing, if you are a radio station streaming on the internet, and let's say you're in California, just know that if someone's listening to you in Florida, that streaming service is probably going to put a commercial for either Joe Biden or Trump at the beginning of your feed. So when someone listens to your internet radio station, they're going to first hear a commercial for either one of those candidates, probably. Because I know this for a fact, because I heard from a lady that was complaining that she heard a Biden commercial, and she left a phone message, not here at 336MM Daily, but a different phone service that I was able to hear this message. She went on, and at one point I said to the person who was playing this back for me, I said, this lady needs a podcast. Because she was basically, Biden to this lady is the Antichrist. She could not be more anti-politician. And I understand if you hate Biden, I understand if you hate Trump. But just realize politicians And it took me a long time to really there is no way I can defend a politician just by their share. I mean, everybody going, Pelosi got her hair cut. You know what? Politicians. That's it. Need I say more? Why are we doing... Madame Rootabega, have you ever dated a politician? Yes. Do you understand what I'm saying about politicians? Yes. Do you want to become a politician? No. I think you should, because you could maybe change the world for a better thing. I guess I'm being cynical. And I guess I'm wrapping up the show. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. By the way, I also do a short little video for every podcast now. I used to do this when I first started Mike's Daily Podcast. I think it was 2011. Almost 10 years now. I would do a little video. Back then, that was a lot more difficult because I didn't have instant access to YouTube. I'd have to make the video on this one device and then carry it over and put it into this other thing and then do the editing. And now it's so simple with the use of an app. I can do it all. But I used to have Basil the Boxer in the videos. And what was interesting was those videos got more popular than the podcast because people saw Basil and Basil would stare at the camera. You will always be upstaged by the dogs and the little kids and the horses and UFOs. You will always be upstaged by UFOs. Just letting you know. I'm letting Tony Baloney know. You will be upstaged by UFOs. And by Floridian women complaining about Biden commercials. You will be always. And CGI sucks. And Steven Spielberg is the only person who should be allowed to do CGI because he seems to be the only one who knows how to do it right. Jurassic Park, first movie, excellent. Okay, take it away, A-Frame. Talk to you tomorrow, hopefully. Thanks for listening. 2117.
Wow.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Baloney.